Maybe next shop.
Okay, let's review again from Parak Hey Mishnah Gimel, the fifth Parak, the third Mishnah. So again, we have this Mishnah that there's a dispute how to read. We'll put the orders in the other order, the opinions in the other order this time, just not to give anyone any favoritism. In malgolin betofes. So you can't use a water wheel to roll with water to flood your field at the time of the harvest, because if you do that, if you do that, you will ruin anything that will fall to the ground because the field's full of mud and water. So you say no, you could, because there's a possibility of just paying the amount that you assume you'll drop. You could just give the aniyim 1/45 of your crop and solve the problem. Or the other opinion, which I think is the one you have in your Mishnayos, in malgolin betofes, you can't deal together with other crops, together with Tofes, some sort of legume that's not particularly valuable and it's more slippery. So if something's going to drop, it's more likely to going to be from that. Different matter.
Are we still on Mishnah 3?
Yeah, I'm doing it again. It's different.
Yeah.
You could. It's possible that the other things will fall. There's nothing that for sure indicates that the less valuable, more slippery thing is the thing that's going to drop. It could be the more valuable things will drop. There's no reason. You're not definitely shortchanging the aniyim in any way, so that's allowed. Okay, Mishnah Daled. If you have a regular homeowner, he has property at home, and he's traveling. The Leket, he's on the road. He doesn't have any cash with him. He needs some food or whatever it is. So he needs to take Leket Shechor Pei or maaser ani. He could take it. So since he has a current legitimate need, even though he has money at home, it's not very helpful because he's not there. So he's allowed to take things that are designated for the poor. Well, it says just when he gets home, he should pay it back, whatever he took from, as let's say Peah, because it's our Masechta. So he'll pay that much money or grain back when he gets home. That's what Eliezer Shita. The Chum says no. He doesn't have to pay it back. He's considered poor at that time. So it's completely legitimate for him to take it, and he doesn't even have an obligation to pay it back, same as any poor person who takes charity or any of these things. It's something he's entitled to, and he doesn't have to pay it back. Okay, Mishnah Hey. Hamachlif imhaniyim. If you have a field owner who exchanges some of his grain with the poor people for their Leket Shechor Peah, so then b'shalai potter u'b'shalaniyim chayiv. So then you end up with an interesting phenomenon. The crop that a normal person grows is obligated in maaser and truma, etc. The leket that the aniyim pick up is not. So if they exchange, now what the field owner has is going to be exempt from maaser, but what the poor people have is going to be obligated in maaser because they each have because they exchanged it with each other. Okay. Shnayim shekiblu es asada barisus. If you have two people that both agree that we'll work this field as sharecroppers and we'll get a portion of the grain from the owner of the field, so it's allowed that if they're both poor, they're allowed to make an exchange. I'll give you the maaser I have to give to the poor person, and you'll give me the tenth you have to give to a poor person, even though it looks a little bit like selling their maaser. That's still okay. However, if someone accepts a field that I'll harvest it and I'll get whatever portion it is, a half, a third, a quarter of the produce, such a person is forbidden from taking Leket Shechor Peah or maaser ani even if he's poor, because since he gets a portion of the field, it's like he's harvesting his own field. And when someone's harvesting their own field, even if they're an ani, they're not allowed to take these things for themselves. They have to leave them for other aniyim. So Amr Yehuda says, Emasai, when is he prohibited? That's if he made a deal like this, that I get half the field, a third of the field, or a quarter of the field, whatever percentage it is, it's not going to matter. If the deal is a third of what you harvest, you get to keep. So if what the worker gets is dependent on his result, on his work, and not a portion of the field before he starts, that's mutter Leket Shechu Peah, because he never had any portion of the grain until he harvested it, and Leket Shechu and Peah are all kind of before the harvest, so that those things never became his, and since they never became his, he could take Leket Shechu Peah if he's poor. However, if Asr Maaser Ani is given from the grain after it's harvested, so he'd be giving Maaser Ani from the Maaser Ani is from grain that's partially his, right? The deal we picked was a third his, so he can't take that Maaser Ani, but the Leket Shechu Peah are from grain that was never his, and therefore he could take from those. Well, the Mishnah Vav also. Hamaycher es Sadeu. If someone sells his field, so then Hamaycher mutter v'Lekech Asr. Again, continuing with the din that was the basis of the previous Mishnayos, that one can't take Leket Shechu or Peah from their own field. So if one person sells their field to another, the original owner is now no longer the owner of the field, and he could take Leket Shechu or Peah, and the buyer is now the owner. Now he's prohibited from taking it. Lo yisker adam esapoilim al menashil ked b'nai acharov. You can't make deals with Leket. So you can't hire a worker and tell him, I'm hiring you to harvest my field, and part of my terms of employment is I'll let your son be the one who tag along behind you and pick up the Leket. That's and similarly, misha inu meniach es haniyim lilukei. Someone who does not allow the aniyim to come collect the Leket. Or he says, you can come, you can't. So he picks which aniyim he lets in. Or even less extreme, or even if he just helps one of the aniyim to collect the Leket, that's like stealing from the other aniyim, because giving the Leket belongs to all of the aniyim. Helping one ani get it or preventing another ani from getting it is taking away from the other aniyim. And al zenemar, about such a thing, it says, al tasig gevul oilim, do not literally do not move the borders of those who are going up. So exactly how to translate the pasuk is disputed. Either oilim might mean those who came up from Egypt as a reference to the Jewish people, or oilim might mean poor people in a positive light, where we kind of view the world as a wheel, right? Some people are going up and some people are going down. So the poor people we refer to as those who are going up, because hopefully their fortune is going to turn for the better. Okay. Shabbos.
You have to have an drafting on Sunday or not?
I have no idea.
Did you get any amount